I am currently in Bonaly Country Park, which is southwest of Edinburgh in Scotland, and I'm here to do some field recording. So in case you don't know, my name is Alice Boyd. I'm a musician, sound artist and audio producer, and my work ranges from my own music and releasing that on Spotify and on vinyl to making radio shows, podcasts, audio installations and much more. And the uniting theme of all of my work is my passion for the environment and the natural world and our place within it. And a big aspect of what I do is field recording. As I was coming all the way to Edinburgh from London, I thought I'd spend an extra day here exploring, doing some field recording and taking you along for the journey. So come along, grab a cup of tea, have a relax. I'll talk through some of my process and you'll hear some relaxing sounds along the way. Okay, so I've just got down to the river and I thought this would be a great place to try out a few different recording techniques. So I have my field recorder with some omnidirectional mics, which I'll go into more detail in a second, which I'll use to record the sound as I basically hear it right now, so the sound above water. And then I also have a hydrophone, which is an underwater microphone, and I'll use that to see what I can hear under the river. First important bit of field recording kit is a hot flask of tea, because it is very cold out here. In my trusty backpack, I have my headphones. So in the past, I used to have a smaller pair of headphones that were just in-ear ones, but sadly they broke, so I'm back to these big boys. So at some stage I will get another smaller pair, just because if I'm traveling, I want to be lightweight, and these are a bit hefty. In here, I have my hydrophone in a wet bag so it doesn't get my other kit wet after I've used it. So this is the Aquarium H2, I can't remember the exact number, but it's the one with the XLR end, so it can go into whatever interface I use. In here today, I have, a little bit tangled. This is the story of my life, just like trying not to get tangled in wires. I have my Zoom H4n today. I do also have an interface called a Mix Pre 6, which is higher quality, doesn't have as much noise in the recordings. With the Mix Pre 6, it doesn't have any inbuilt microphones, so you only can plug a microphone in. The Zoom H4n has these two microphones here and also the ability to plug in external microphones. I need to spend some time setting up the Mix Pre 6 a bit better, just to be able to comfortably carry around the microphones at the same time and record things. I love to record stuff on the go, and currently the Zoom H4n really helps me do that. So I'm sacrificing a bit of audio quality just for transportability at the moment. However, I might do a future video on setting up my Mix Pre 6 with my microphones to see how I can make it feel very transportable, as easily usable as my Zoom H4n. I've got these two omnidirectional microphones. Now, omnidirectional microphones essentially record in 360 degrees, and with two of them, it can almost mimic how we hear, how human is here. So here I'm just screwing on a tripod, which makes it easier to hold sometimes if I'm doing interviews. Particularly for this one podcast, I'll do an interview with this setup because it captures a lot of the ambient sound, which can make it very hard to edit, but it also works really well for a podcast that's all about being immersed in the landscape. And then here I have two little fluffy wind stoppers, wind buffers. Sometimes they're called dead cats, the covers for microphones. These might be more like dead bumblebees or soot sprites, perhaps. So these just go onto the microphone and reduce the amount of wind sound that you get. So this is my little microphone setup, and I find for me, for doing something quite low-key, it works very well. I think in an ideal world, these two microphones would be further apart, because then I'd have much wider stereo fields. again, one for my future setup. And then finally, so I have with me a battery pack. The zooms, when they're running off battery, at least the H4n, I'm not sure about other zooms, but I found the battery life gets sucked up really quickly. So, I've also just noticed I'm covered in mud. The Zoom H4n, I just plug it into one of these battery packs. This one's from Anchor, and it lasts for a pretty long time. Like, I've never run out of battery on a recording trip. So I found them to be really, really effective and good. I'm just turning it on and I'm ready to record. So I've just spotted the most beautiful bit of river up here, where there's a little waterfall and some fallen logs with some snow on them. And I thought it'd be nice to try and capture the sounds of the waterfall. So let's go and do that. And I'm really attempting not to fall over. I'm not wearing suitable shoes today because it wasn't snowing in Edinburgh and I hadn't expected to find snow so close to the city, but should have done a bit more research. But here we are, look at this. Okay, so I'm going to do the same setup as last time. Just going to wedge you in some snow there. And I'm going to use the omnidirectional microphones again, so I'll set them up kind of near the waterfall and we can get the sound of it trickling down. So now that I have those two recordings of the river and the waterfall, I'm now going to try out the hydrophone. And it's getting pretty cold. It feels like there's a very light amount of snow, just like slightly coming down. So this might be my last field recording. But if you are interested in more field recording videos like this, I can go into more detail, or I can try out different microphones, things like that. I would love to hear from you, and please do put a comment down below. Let me know what you'd be interested in me recording, or locations where I could go. But yeah, let's try out the hydrophone. So let me walk you through the process of changing over to the hydrophone. So changing over from the omnidirectional microphones to the hydrophone is very, very simple. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off my Zoom recorder. I think some snow just came down from a tree. Turn off my Zoom recorder, take out the XLRs for the omnidirectional microphones. Now I could take off the microphones, but it's not necessary, so I'm gonna take off the sort of XLR bits. Just they're quite heavy and they can weigh on these cables, but I'm just gonna take those off. I'm gonna take off the the little fluffy guys as well, just because sometimes they fall off and I don't want to lose them. Step number 2, we have our XLR cable for the hydrophone, and I actually do have a boom pole, so I can hold the boom pole and actually almost fish for sounds, but I don't have that with me today because I'm traveling light. So this is the microphone, and this is the bit you put underwater. Don't put your audio, the interface, into the water, that would not be good. So just that bit at the end and the cable is fine to go in. Okay, so I'm going to use this part of the river because there's a good amount of depth, so I should be able to get the hydrophone in and we'll be able to hear some sounds without it knocking against the rocks too much. I only have about 1 hour of daylight left, so I'm going to go back to Edinburgh before it gets dark and warm up somewhere. But thank you for taking the time to watch this video and to listen to the sounds. I hope that you found it enjoyable to watch, perhaps useful. If you like this video, you might also enjoy my music, which often weaves field recordings as well as folk-inspired harmonies and instrumentals through the songs. So you can find that on this YouTube channel as well as on Spotify, Apple Music, all the various places. And I have a number of radio and audio projects that you can find on my website, which is www.aliceboyd.info. But yeah, if you have any questions about field recording or about what I did today, or if there's anything you'd like to see me do next, please do let me know in the comments below. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.
And gone are the secrets you keep from the night. Waterfall.